The void shimmered with the distant light of a dozen dying stars. But it wasn't the cosmos that caught the human colonists' attention. It was the shadow. A shadow so immense it swallowed their twin suns whole, blotting out the glimmering cities below, like an eclipse of living steel. The alien armada had arrived. Captain Alara Vance stood on the observation deck of the colony's command tower, her hands resting lightly on the rail. Around her, technicians scrambled at control consoles, their voices tense as the alien fleet pulsed in the darkness of space, their massive hulls glowing with bioluminescent energy. "They're here," one technician whispered, almost to himself, eyes wide. Alara's lips curled into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. "Good," she said. "Let's see how curious they really are." The aliens expected terror. They had studied every species in this quadrant of the galaxy, cataloging civilizations and calculating how long it would take to conquer them. Humanity, they assumed, would be no different. Primitive weapons, fragile ships, and barely colonies. This species should crumble in hours. Yet from the moment the alien scouts drifted above the first colony domes, the humans moved with calm precision. Drones zipped over jagged towers, repairing antennas and rerouting power grids. Soldiers adjusted makeshift laser turrets. Scientists checked energy matrices, making small adjustments that would maximize efficiency in the coming confrontation. Every movement was deliberate, confident, almost casual. The aliens communicated through thought-link pulses, analyzing, predicting, and recalculating. "Their defenses are negligible," one murmured in the hive mind's hum, "and yet, there is something anomalous." Alara's fleet of small interceptor craft roared into formation above the colony, engines blazing. Her eyes scanned the alien armadon with fear, but curiosity. She had studied the reports, of course. 1,000 lifetimes of alien warfare condensed into data streams and holographic schematics. The calculations were clear. Humans were outmatched, outnumbered, and outgunned. And yet, instinct whispered otherwise. The first warning shots streaked across the void laser tracers, slicing through the darkness with lethal precision. Most species would have panicked, retreating behind defensive formations, hiding behind their walls. But not humans. Alara gave a single hand signal. Drones pivoted mid-air. Interceptors spiraled around the incoming fire, not randomly, but in patterns, so unpredictable that alien sensors could barely follow. Explosions blossomed across the outskirts of the city like firework petals, yet the humans moved with fluid grace, dodging debris and returning fire from improvised turrets. One alien commander tilted, his massive head, antennas flickering. "They are adapting faster than anticipated." Another hissed, almost to itself, "They fight as if they have lived 1,000 lives." Alara watched from the command tower as the alien's sensors flared, scanning, recalculating, yet unable to anticipate human movement. Her smile widened slightly. "Let them try," she whispered. "We've only just begun." Above the colony, the first battle lines began to form. Tiny specks of human craft darted like shadows among colossal alien hulls, lasers streaking between them in an elegant, deadly dance. The air thrummed with tension, as if the planet itself held its breath in that moment. One truth became clear. These humans were not naive, fragile, or expendable. They were unpredictable, fearless, and utterly impossible to break. The first alien salvo hit like a storm tearing through the atmosphere. Crimson beams cut across the twin suns' glare, searing the jagged colony towers and igniting clouds of dust into a burning haze. The ground shook with explosions and alarm. Sirens screamed, yet humans moved with uncanny calm. Captain Alara Vance leaned over the tactical console, eyes scanning dozens of displays. "Deploy the decoys," she ordered. "And keep the interceptors loose. Don't let them predict a pattern." Her voice carried neither fear nor urgency, only the quiet authority of someone who trusted instinct over computation. From orbit, Alien commanders watched in disbelief. Their sensors mapped every drone, every human fighter, every energy turret, yet predictions failed. Every maneuver the humans executed was unanticipated, counterintuitive, and devastatingly effective. For every alien drone that closed in, two were shredded by improvised laser arrays and explosive traps humans had cobbled together in the last 30 minutes. The alien admiral's antennas twitched in frustration. "How?" he muttered. "Our calculations are precise. Their positions, their trajectories, everything should align. But humans refused to follow expectation. Interceptors weaved like living shadows, appearing where the aliens thought impossible. Turrets powered by scavenged energy cores exploded alien drones in synchronized bursts. The air above the colony shimmered with chaos, smoke, sparks, and tracer fire dancing in a deadly ballet. On the ground, engineers pushed portable energy cannons across the cracked landscape, taking positions that seemed illogical yet worked with perfect precision. Soldiers sprinted between barricades, dodging falling debris and returning fire with uncanny timing. Even children safe in bunkers watched calmly, observing every movement like students of an impossible lesson. One alien scout broke through the sensor fog, long enough to record a single observation. "They are improvising, and it works." Lips curved into a thin smile. "Keep them busy," she murmured. "We're just warming up." The humans' adaptability was relentless. One squad of engineers rigged collapsing tower sections to crush advancing alien drones mid-charge. Another squad of interceptors baited enemy fighters into asteroid belts, dodging debris with the grace of predators, leaving alien ships shredded and confused. Every move seemed reckless. It was calculated with instinctive genius. Above the colony, the alien fleet began to falter. Formations dissolved, drones collided with one another, and energy shields flared unpredictably. Alien strategists tried to coordinate attacks through thought-link pulses, but the humans' improvisation broke their synchronization. They had underestimated not the weapons, not the numbers, but the species itself. An alien commander, centuries in battle, hissed in disbelief. "They fight as if they've lived 10 lifetimes. No, 100. Alara adjusted her visor and called out to her pilots. "Remember, every mistake they make is an opportunity. Don't overthink, just move, adapt, and keep them guessing." As the sun dipped behind the horizon, streaking the colony in molten orange and violet, the humans' counterattacks left burning alien drones tumbling across the skyline. The colony, battered yet unbowed, shone like a jewel amidst the chaos's symbol of audacity and indomitable spirit. The aliens began to withdraw slightly, regrouping for the next wave. Their calculations had failed, their centuries of experience rendered almost meaningless, and humans, they paused only to assess, adjust, and smile. Above all, one fact was undeniable. These humans were not merely surviving. They were learning, adapting, and turning every strike into a weapon. Every miscalculation by the aliens became a lesson, and every human move seemed almost preternatural-like experience gained over countless lifetimes. The alien commanders convened in the cold glow of their flagship's command chamber, their many eyes flickering over holographic projections of the battlefield. Ships were burning, drones scattered, and formations shattered. Yet the humans below, fragile, almost laughably small, moved with uncanny precision. One elder among the commanders hissed, antennae quivering. "They anticipate every maneuver." "How is this possible?" Another snapped. "They are supposed to be primitive. Their history should be irrelevant." And yet humans weren't just reacting. They were learning faster than the aliens could comprehend, improvising solutions to attacks that had never existed in the galaxy's memory. Every ambush, every feint, every trap had been countered or turned against its maker. Captain Alara Vance leaned over the tactical console, eyes scanning live feeds from multiple colonies. Her team had no advanced fleet sensors, no artificial intelligences calculating probabilities, but they didn't need them. Humans moved with instinct honed through millennia of survival on harsh worlds, in unforgiving environments, in conflicts, too small to register in alien histories. They didn't calculate, they anticipated. The first wave of alien reinforcements arrived, massive warships cutting through the void like jagged black knives. Their cannons flared, bathing the colony in deadly violet light. Panic would have been natural. Any other species would have retreated. Humans smiled instead. Ilara's voice rang out calmly across the comms. Focus on what's in front of you. Predict them, but don't wait for them to make the first move. Move fast, hit harder, keep them off balance. And they did. Interceptors darted through narrow canyons of asteroid debris, dodging torrents of energy fire with impossible agility. Engineers redirected emergency power to rooftop turrets, turning crumbling towers into deadly firing platforms. Small teams of soldiers ran across open streets, weaving through explosions, placing mines that detonated exactly when alien drones passed overhead. Each move was improvisational, yet precise, like instinct sharpened into lethal choreography. One alien strategist, decades of war etched into his carapace, hissed at the live feeds. Their movements, it's as if they've lived hundreds of lives. They anticipate before we act, adapt faster than logic allows. And yet, there was no hesitation, no fear, no doubt. Humans had no need for centuries of training or simulation. Their instincts carried them through every strike encounter. They thought in the moment, but the effect was as if experience itself flowed through them, accumulated over lifetimes. On the ground, Captain Ilara watched her team maneuver through collapsing infrastructure. Fires reflected in her visor as she guided her squads, not with commands alone, but with an understanding born of shared trust and instinctive timing. They were human, yes, but they were something the aliens could not model, could not predict, could not destroy. From orbit, alien observers recalculated endlessly, running centuries of battle algorithms against each movement. Each calculation failed, every projection collapsed. Impossible, muttered the lead strategist. This species, it cannot be understood. Ilara glanced at the chaos of the battlefield, at the way her people moved, through fire and smoke like shadows dancing across the walls of a ruined temple. They think they're prepared, she said quietly. They don't even realize we're just starting. The aliens had faced countless civilizations, each more advanced than the last. Yet these humans, fragile, limited, mortal, fought with the confidence of beings who had survived everything life could throw at them. And in that confidence lay an unpredictable power the galaxy had never seen. The alien fleet hovered like a black cloud above the colony, massive ships bristling with weapons and energy arrays. From the void, they looked unstoppably movable mountains of steel and pulse. Yet, below, the humans were already moving. Captain Ilara Vance surveyed the battlefield from her command tower, eyes narrowing as she traced the alien formations. Every pulse, every movement, every calculated strike was accounted for, not because they could predict the humans, but because the humans had taught themselves to exploit the gaps between calculations. They think they're prepared, she said quietly to her second-in-command. Let's show them what they've missed. In a blur of motion, interceptor crafts surged from hidden bays and orbital hangars. Unlike conventional strikes, this assault was chaotic and patterned, unpredictable, designed not to follow the alien logic, but to shatter it. Lasers streaked across space in jagged lines, some intentionally missing, some exploding precisely against alien hulls. The fleet's sensors struggled to track movements that violated every known trajectory. On the colony's surface, engineers activated improvised kinetic launchers, massive coils powered by scavenged energy. The projectiles arced through the sky, invisible until their electromagnetic trails lit the air. Alien drones collided with the projectiles, exploding into fragments that rained fire onto the streets below. Soldiers took advantage of the chaos, leaping from barricade to barricade, their weapons dancing in rhythm with the explosions. The alien admirals could only watch in disbelief. Their centuries of warfare and strategy collapsed under the humans' improvisation. "They are impossible to contain," one hissed, antennae twitching as sensors overloaded with data. From orbit, Ilara initiated the next phase. Small pods, seemingly unarmed, were launched toward the alien ships. When they reached proximity, energy bursts from the colony synced with microgravity maneuvers, converting each pod into a kinetic missile, traveling at impossible velocities. Ships were shredded from within, their shields unable to adjust to the unpredictability of the attacks. An alien strategist, decades of battle etched into his exoskeleton, muttered in disbelief, "This is not combat. It is evolution in motion." The humans moved like shadows of themselves, adapting in real time to alien countermeasures. When a ship tried to flank, human interceptors drew it into an asteroid field where improvised traps awaited. When drones swarmed a sector, engineers activated energy nets and plasma turrets, turning the swarm against itself. Every action was a reaction, but every reaction was more than reaction. It was anticipation incarnate. Amid the chaos, Ilara's eyes glinted with a mixture of amusement and determination. Her squadron commander radioed in, "Captain, they're breaking formation. Entire sections are retreating." Ilara's voice was calm, almost teasing. "Good. Keep pushing. Don't let them think we're serious yet." From the alien flagship, alarms blared, hull integrity fluctuated, and panic rippled across the command deck. No one had fought humans like this. No one had faced a species that did not fear, that did not hesitate, and that treated chaos as opportunity above the colony. Smoke and fire twisted into a surreal spectacle against the dying light of the twin suns. Explosions flared like lightning, interceptors streaked like falling stars, and the human colony stood unbroken, an impossible fortress of ingenuity and raw instinct. The alien fleet, now fragmented and shaken, began to withdraw, their calculations failing, their centuries of experience meaningless against the unpredictable ingenuity of a species they had underestimated. Ilara allowed herself a small smile. "They'll remember this, but not yet. We're just getting started." The alien fleet retreated, battered but not defeated, retreating behind a veil of plasma clouds and fractured drones. They believed humans were disorganized, reacting rather than leading. They were wrong. Captain Ilara Vance surveyed the battlefield. From the command tower, the colony was scarred smoke curling from collapsed towers, fires burning bright against the twilight sky, but the humans moved with fluidity, as if the destruction had been planned all along. Each squad recalibrated, each turret repositioned, each drone rerouted. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was predictable. "They think they've seen us at our worst," Ilara murmured to her second-in-command. "Let's show them our best." The humans' next move was invisible to the alien sensors. Underground tunnels and hidden chambers had been quietly activated. From these secret positions, engineers unleashed swarms of kinetic microdrones, small, nearly invisible, and fast beyond calculation. They slipped between shields and armor, sabotaging systems the aliens didn't know existed. Ships that had once been formidable now shuddered under relentless, unseen attacks. From orbit, the alien admiral's eyes widened in horror. Their calculations couldn't account for a threat that wasn't in front of them. Every maneuver predicted, every defense calculated, crumbled under human ingenuity. "Impossible," hissed one, antennae shaking. "They fight in ways we cannot even perceive." On the ground, soldiers executed synchronized ambushes, turning narrow alleyways and cratered streets into lethal funnels. Explosions rocked the terrain as alien drones were shredded mid-flight. Humans moved with uncanny precision. Each step, each shot, each deployment of improvised weapons was instinctive, almost prescient, Ilara's voice cut through the chaos. Overcomes. Remember, they can't predict what they can't see. Use the shadows. Use the debris. Make every mistake they think we're making work in our favor. The alien commanders grew frantic. Formation orders were shouted. Algorithms recalculated, but nothing stopped the invisible onslaught. Ships collided, shields overloaded, and panic rippled across the fleet. The humans weren't just surviving, they were controlling the tempo, dictating the pace of every engagement. One alien strategist's antennae twitched violently. They are not fighting, they are orchestrating. It is as if they've rehearsed this 1,000 times before even leaving their planet. Ilara smiled faintly. They think it's luck. They'll learn soon enough. It's skill and instinct. Above the colony, a squadron of interceptors dove through the alien rear guard. Plasma fire streaked the sky, casting long jagged shadows over the ruins below. Explosions painted the horizon in oranges and purples. Yet the humans moved calmly, adjusting to every countermeasure the aliens attempted. Each maneuver was an answer before a question was asked. Even the youngest human recruits, armed with nothing but portable energy rifles, executed tasks that would have confounded seasoned alien pilots. They didn't panic. They didn't hesitate. They adapted. As the sun dipped completely below the horizon, turning the sky into a bruised purple, the alien fleet had been forced into disarray. Communications broke down. Strategy faltered. The humans had turned chaos into their weapon, improvisation into an unstoppable force. Ilara watched the remnants of the alien ships retreat into space. Her voice was calm, but carried weight. They'll remember today, but not everything. The full lesson is yet to come. The alien commanders regrouped in orbit, their massive flagship shivering under the residual tremors of the humans' previous strike. They believed retreat had bought them time-breathing space to recalculate, reorganize, and dominate. They were about to discover that humans didn't need time. Humans made time irrelevant. Captain Ilara Vance hovered over the tactical console in the command tower, eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. The colony appeared calm now, but beneath the surface, every human operative had a role in a plan. The aliens couldn't even perceive. This wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Phase 2 begins, she said, voice barely above a whisper, yet carrying a gravity that made her officers lean forward. From hidden orbital platforms, humans activated decoy energy signatures. Massive, illusory fleets materialized across the battlefield, shimmering holograms that mimicked entire squadrons of warships. Alien sensors locked on immediately, relaying precise coordinates and firing solutions. In response, the aliens launched volleys of energy blasts into empty space. Beneath the holograms, real humans struck. Interceptor crafts flitted through asteroid debris, invisible against the clutter of false targets. Engineers detonated hidden kinetic charges within the debris fields, sending cascades of shrapnel toward unsuspecting alien ships. Every strike was unpredicted, incontrôlable, and devastating. The alien admiral's antennae twitched violently as their systems overloaded. "This is impossible," one hissed. "We cannot distinguish the real from the illusion. Every calculation is compromised." On the ground, Captain Ilara coordinated with soldiers in ruined streets. "Remember," she said, overcomes. "They are chasing shadows. Use their confusion. Strike where they think we cannot reach. Make every hesitation count." Explosions erupted like fireworks, turning the night sky into a surreal storm of fire and plasma. Streets collapsed under controlled demolitions, and alien drones were funneled into kill zones with surgical precision. The human colony, scarred and battered, seemed almost serene amid the chaos, a fortress that moved with intelligence the aliens could not model. Even young recruits played their parts. From sniper perches on crumbling rooftops, they eliminated key drone operators, disrupting alien coordination. Engineers hacked enemy communication relays mid-battle, feeding false commands that redirected alien ships into ambushes. Every human, no matter their rank or experience, had become an instrument of deception, anticipation, and instinctive action. The lead alien strategist ground his mandibles in frustration. "They are not merely fighting," he hissed. "They are rewriting the rules of engagement. Every move we make is anticipated, yet they are not reacting, they are dictating." Ilara watched the alien fleet falter, ships colliding with one another in confusion. Their retreat had become chaotic. Every attempt to recover was anticipated and countered. Yet the humans did not overextend, they did not gloat. They struck with precision, withdrew, and waited for the next opening, as patient predators in a storm of their own making. Above the colony, the night sky shimmered with fire trails and debris, a dazzling spectacle of controlled destruction. The aliens had entered the humans' domain and environment, where instinct, adaptability, and cunning were more powerful than brute force or centuries of calculation. Ilara allowed herself a faint smile. "They believe they control the battlefield," she said softly, "but every step they take is exactly where we want them." The alien fleet, already fractured and demoralized, drifted in space like wounded leviathans. Panic had set in among the ranks. They had faced chaos before, but never a species that seemed to anticipate every contingency, adapt faster than thought, and weaponize unpredictability itself. Captain Ilara Vance watched the alien flagship through orbital sensors. Every movement, every hesitation, every desperate recalculation was a step deeper into the trap she had meticulously orchestrated. This was no longer about defense. This was the human counterstrike, the decisive maneuver that would make the aliens question everything they believed about warfare and about humans. "Deploy the final sequence," she ordered, her voice calm but charged with authority. From hidden orbital platforms, energy harpoons, magnetic tether arrays, and microsingularity projectors were simultaneously activated. Alien ships, caught between the real human interceptors and the phantom fleets of holograms, found themselves ensnared. The harpoons latched onto holes, dragging ships into carefully calculated collision courses, while the microsingularities twisted gravity fields around them. Ships that had seemed invincible now crashed into one another, exploding in flashes of plasma and metal. On the colony's surface, soldiers advanced with ruthless precision. Alleyways, once narrow and treacherous, became conduits for human ingenuity. Improvised flamethrowers, plasma rifles, and energy nets created lethal traps, each designed to exploit alien movement patterns. Even the youngest recruits moved like seasoned veterans, their instincts honed by months of relentless adaptation. From the alien flagship, alarms blared and chaos reigned. We cannot," one admiral stammered, antennae quivering in disbelief. "They anticipate everything. Every strike, every misstep, we are undone." Ilara allowed herself a faint, almost teasing smile. "They call it evolution. We call it warm-up." Above the planet, the sky burned with cascading explosions, flares, and debris. Orbital interceptors wove through the chaos, targeting exposed engines and weak points. The aliens' retreat had turned into a full-blown rout. Each calculated strike, each improvised trap, and each human maneuver contributed to a symphony of destruction, beautiful in its precision, terrifying in its inevitability. Even as the flagship attempted a last-ditch hyperjump, microsingularities fractured the space around it, making escape impossible. Its engines flared, hull integrity collapsed, and it shattered in a blinding spectacle of fire and energy. The remaining alien vessels, witnessing the annihilation of their command ship, faltered. Retreat became desperation. Strategy dissolved into panic. Ilara's voice echoed over comms to all units. "This is the point where legends are born. Do not give them a chance to recover. Move with clarity, strike with precision, and let them remember humanity forever. The humans moved as one, coordinated, adaptive, unstoppable. Every alien maneuver was countered before it could be completed. Every calculation the aliens relied upon was invalidated. Humanity, for all its perceived fragility, had become a force the galaxy had never encountered, intuitive, unpredictable, and ruthlessly efficient. As the last of the alien ships fled into the void, the colony stood scarred but unbroken. Fires still burned, smoke twisted into the darkening sky. But the humans had survived and triumphed against an enemy that had once considered them insignificant. Ilara gazed upward, her eyes reflecting the wreckage of alien might scattered across orbit. "They'll tell stories of today," she said softly, "but they won't understand it. Not yet, and that is how humans win." The alien fleet had vanished into the void, leaving behind twisted remnants of their once mighty armada. Silence fell over the battlefield, broken only by the crackle of fires and the distant hum of damaged machinery. The humans stood amidst the ruins, breathing heavily, scanning for any lingering threats. Yet there were none. For the first time in galactic memory, the predators had fled before the prey. Captain Ilara Vance stepped onto the highest vantage point of the colony, the wind carrying the faint scent of scorched metal and ozone. Around her, human soldiers regrouped, tending to wounded comrades, salvaging equipment, and quietly marveling at what had just been achieved. They had survived not by overwhelming force alone, but by intelligence, adaptability, and relentless determination. The alien commanders, trapped in deep space signals and fragmented communications, struggled to comprehend what had occurred. Their calculations had failed, their assumptions shattered, their pride obliterated. For the first time, a species they had underestimated had outmaneuvered them completely. Humans, in their eyes, were an anomaly, an equation that could not be solved. Elara activated the comms. Her voice was calm, almost serene, yet carried the weight of finality. "Let this message reach anyone who would underestimate humanity. We are not a species to be measured, predicted, or contained. We survive, we adapt, we prevail, and we will always find a way." Below, soldiers nodded silently, understanding that this victory was more than survival. It was a statement. Every fire, every ruined street, every scar on the land bore witness to the audacity of the human spirit. Even against a civilization that had once dwarfed them technologically, humans had turned vulnerability into strength, improvisation into dominance, and instinct into mastery. In the distance, orbital drones hovered silently, scanning the remnants of alien warships. They captured the wreckage, not as trophies, but as lessons, a record of human ingenuity and courage. These would serve as warnings for any who might consider challenging humanity again. Ilara's gaze lifted to the stars, dark and infinite, where countless civilizations watched and waited. Some would remember Earth with fear, others with curiosity, yet none would ignore it. Humanity had not merely defended itself, they had asserted their place in the galaxy. A young recruit approached her, eyes wide with awe. "Captain, they'll come back, won't they?" Ilara smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting both the fires of the battlefield and the calm certainty of survival. "Let them come," she said softly. "They'll spend lifetimes learning what we call a warm-up, and when they return, they'll know humans are not to be underestimated." The sky above the colony shimmered with the last trails of exploding alien ships, the remnants of chaos frozen in a silent tableau of victory. Yet, amidst the destruction, there was beauty, the resilience of humanity, the clarity of purpose, and the proof that even in the darkest hour, ingenuity and courage could shape the course of history. The galaxy had been reminded, humans were not merely another species, they were a force, unpredictable, relentless, and unconquerable.